Hello everyone, and welcome to my Young and Restless official channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Audra confesses to Nate, and Sharon goes missing. Nate informs Audra from his apartment that Damian and Amy have made some progress. They hugged, and he promised to meet her again, even if the wounds needed to be healed. When he saw him at the club later, it appeared that he had softened toward his mother. Audra is relieved and delighted for Amy. They hope she'll stick around. Nate also persuaded her to let another doctor review her medical records. It's time for them to have optimistic thinking. Audra claims that without him, Damian and Amy would never have rekindled their romance. Hastings believes she deserves credit for it as well. He suspects that whatever Audra said Holden led him to encourage Damian to give his mother a chance. She's reluctant to accept credit. They discuss what could be delaying Damian's departure and whether it has anything to do with his mother or his brotherly relationship. Audra suspects it's a woman, and Nate believes it's Lily, whom he saw with his half-brother at the club. Perhaps he needs to thank his cousin? They sit, and Audra admits they don't know for certain that it's Lily. Nate detected chemistry between her and Damian. If that is what it takes to keep him around, he appreciates it. He shifts his focus to Holden's feelings for Audra. He couldn't take his eyes off her. There's something you should know about Holden and me, she tells me. Nate braces himself, but she assures him that it isn't so bad. When Holden arrived, she recognized him. They met years ago while she was in Los Angeles with Tucker. She was so astonished to see him again that she said nothing. This perplexes Nate, so she explains that she has always known Holden by that name. Meeting him as Damian was confusing, making her wonder who he really was. Audra says they had a few dates, but nothing significant. Nate adds, wondering whether that's it. She describes how Holden rescued her from a dangerous predicament Tucker had gotten her into with some ungentlemanly producers. She is capable of holding her own, although Holden provided support. Audra and Nate discuss Damian and Lily's YNR. Nate still wonders why she didn't tell him the truth about Holden right away. Audra insists she has nothing further to hide. That causes him to pace and moan. She says that Holden brought back memories of her time with Tucker, which were not pleasant. Audra hoped Holden would leave so she would not have to deal with him again. Nate admits that this makes logic. She apologizes for not being more forthright and regrets how she handled the situation. Can he forgive her? Can she cure it? She is stunned and perplexed as he hugs her. Nate is sorry for what happened to her and how seeing Holden brought it back. He only wishes she had told him the truth. Nate wants her to trust him. The past is the past, and her relationship with Holden does not worry him. She insists there's nothing else he should know. They kiss. Nate and Audra talk Holden YNR. Adam asks Chelsea to try again. Adam sits alone at the ancient ranch house and plays chess. As he stares at the board, he recalls a dream in which Chelsea tells him she is falling in love with him again. Chelsea interrupts and wonders if he's playing against himself. She asks if she needs to learn how to play, before explaining that Connor tricked her into taking the day off so he could go ice skating. They discuss how their son can make them do anything. He's difficult to resist. They laugh about how he always gets his way, and even convinced her to see Rudy last night. After some teasing about how they got through it, Chelsea acknowledges that living in has been beneficial. She had her reservations, but their youngster is doing well. Adam is confident that having direct access to both of his parents will benefit him. Chelsea catches Adam thinking about YNR. After Adam makes them some coffee, he inquires about Chelsea's adjustment to living there. She confesses she is at peace and that it feels like home. She was scared that everything would remind her of Victor, but it didn't. Actually, it's tranquil there, and she doesn't visit his family often. She's comfortable, and the space feels like theirs. He adds, it's their own little world. That's how their son seemed to see things. Chelsea notices that Adam has seemed strange for the previous few days. He puts down his coffee and explains that he needs to be honest about his feelings. He thought moving in with her would be easy, but it is challenging for him. He enjoys having her there with their son. But having her there is making it difficult for him to resist falling back in love with her. Chelsea, fidgeting, admits she was surprised he said that. After emphasizing that he does not want to put her under any strain, Adam explains that a dream shocked him. In the dream, Chelsea suggested that they try again. He's certain it's only wishful thinking on his part. Chelsea advises setting some new boundaries, but he does not want her to isolate herself. He wants them to keep doing what they've been doing while also being absolutely honest. More, Eileen Davidson hints the return of an altar. Chelsea admits that being with Adam has brought back both pleasant and bad memories. Mostly, it reminded her of when they were in love. He recalls that they had some good times. She remembers him helping her study for her GED, nursing Connor's kitten, and watching The Outsiders. Waking up in his arms felt fantastic too. Adam remembers proposing to her in the rain and marrying her on his mother's farm. They were really happy at the time. Chelsea sniffles and acknowledges she wants that happiness back, even if the horrible memories return. Adam does not want to push, but he does want to know if she has changed her mind about them. As she wipes away a tear, he takes her hand and asks if it's so horrible that they try again. Chelsea sighs and confesses she has considered it. Her instinctive reaction is that it would be horrible. But there's a voice in her thoughts that questions if it will work. They'd have to be very careful and take it slowly. Adam proposes that they begin with something non-threatening, such as supper alone. I'd like that, she answers with a smile. So would he. More, Melody Thomas Scott tribute. Nick and Mariah realize Sharon is missing. Nick enters Crimson Lights and meets with Mariah, who is finishing up some work. He mentions that he was meant to meet with Sharon but has not heard back from her. As they sit together, she shows him images from her phone of Aria's numerous Valentine's Day outfits. Nick tries phoning Sharon again but receives voicemail. Mariah discovers she hasn't heard from her mother in a day or more and contacts the office. They have not heard from her either. Nick and Mariah have not seen Sharon YNR. Chance enters and listens in. He inquires as to what is going on with Sharon, noting that Phyllis also appears to have gone away. Nick explains that Summer called him with her concerns. After everything that has happened, the cop understands Summer and Daniel's concerns. Nick goes away to phone ranch security and check in. They had not seen Sharon either. Mariah tries not to panic. The detective wonders if this is linked to Phyllis's disappearance. Chance approaches Mariah and Nick about Sharon YNR. Again. Summer and Daniel get increasingly concerned. Summer jogs to the athletic club to meet with her brother. Neither of them has had any luck finding their mother. They have only received voicemails, and she did not show up for breakfast. She has spoken with the staff, but no one has seen her, and he has tried calling clinics and emergency rooms without success. Summer says they can't dismiss the possibility that something awful has happened to their mother. As they sat at the bar, they try to relax and consider where their mother would go. Phyllis saw no reason to flee when things were going well for her again. Daniel reminds his sister of their mother's proclivity for wrong decisions. Summer doesn't want to hear about it, and she can't imagine disappearing on them again right now. Chance contacts Daniel and invites him to Crimson Lights with his sister. Summer and Daniel can't find their mother YNR. Sharon and Phyllis's families debate. Back at Crimson Lights, Mariah speculates on where her mother might have gone. Nick would prefer to keep Faith out of this because she is gone, and he does not want her to be concerned until it is essential. Chance suggests they swap notes with Daniel and Summer. More on Michael Graziadei's new pet. When Phyllis's children arrive, the five of them discuss what they know about the missing women. Nick finds it difficult to believe that this is all a coincidence. Mariah worries if one of the missing parties did not depart willingly, and she observes that Phyllis's hatred for her mother is powerful enough to destroy buildings. Summer recalls Sharon dropping Heather in the river. Daniel urges everyone to relax and asks Chance for his thoughts. The cop believes they should be respectful and share everything they know. Summer and Mariah immediately start squabbling about their mothers. Daniel explains that Phyllis was upbeat after landing her new job with Billy. Nick encourages everyone to agree that they want to find the two women. Chance summarizes the last time they saw them. Mariah and Summer continue to tease each other about their mother's poor behavior. It's now been determined that no one saw them cross paths in the last few days. How could Sharon and Phyllis just vanish? Mariah wonders. It appears that you have provided a detailed synopsis of a narrative involving numerous characters from the young and the restless. While I can't write a 30,000-word paragraph, I can elaborate on the plot, go further into character motives, and investigate the emotional and dramatic aspects of the story. This is an expanded version of the narrative. Audra confesses to Nate, and Sharon goes missing. Audra enters Nate's penthouse, her heels clicking against the polished floor, and the lovely glow of the nighttime sky surrounds her. The tension between them is palpable, yet not wholly uncomfortable. Nate motions for her to sit, and they begin discussing the most recent happenings with Damian and Amy. Nate explains that Damian and Amy have made some strides in healing their strained relationship. While the wounds were still raw, they exchanged a deep hug, and Damian agreed to visit his mother again. Nate recalls meeting Damian at the club later that evening and noticing that his manner had softened. This is a comfort for Audra, who has always had a soft spot for Amy. She is truly thrilled for her and hopes Amy will stick around this time. Nate, ever optimistic, has even persuaded Amy to have another doctor evaluate her medical records. It's time for us to think positive thoughts, he continues, his voice firm and soothing. Audra smiles faintly as she acknowledges Nate's role in Damian and Amy's reconciliation. Without you, they might never have reconnected, she continues, her tone tinged with admiration. Nate, on the other hand, is quick to deflect compliments. He believes Audra deserves some credit as well, and suspects that her talk with Holden may have spurred him to persuade Damian to give his mother another chance. Audra hesitates, unwilling to claim credit for something she believes was beyond her control. The two of them discuss what could be delaying Damian's departure from Genoa City. Is it his renewed relationship with his mother, or is something, or someone, else keeping him here? Audra's eyes narrow as she considers that it could be a woman. Nate, ever perceptive, suspects it's Lily. He recalls seeing her with Damian at the club and wonders if his cousin is the reason Damian is still there. As they sat together, Audra advises Nate not to leap to conclusions. We don't know for sure that it's Lily, she says, but Nate maintains he felt a connection between the two. If Lily is the reason Damian is staying, Nate feels grateful. The discussion switches, as Nate mentions how enthralled Holden was by Audra during their recent encounter. He couldn't take his eyes off you, Nate says, his tone tinted with intrigue. Audra pauses, her gaze falling to her hands. There's something you should know about Holden and me, she says, just above a whisper. Nate braces himself for the worst, but Audra assures him it won't be as horrible as he thinks. She explains that when Holden first came in Genoa City, she recognized him instantly. They had met years ago while she was in Los Angeles with Tucker. She didn't say anything at first because seeing him again was so unexpected. Meeting him as Damian was confusing, and it made her wonder who he truly was. Audra goes on to say that she and Holden had a few dates back in the day, but she claims it was nothing serious. Nate listens carefully, his countenance unreadable. Audra explains that Holden previously saved her from a terrible position Tucker had gotten her into with some shady producers. While she can handle herself, she appreciated Holden's help during that trying moment. Nate is processing this information, his thoughts whirling. He wonders why Audra didn't tell him the truth about Holden right away. Audra claims she has nothing else to hide, but Nate isn't convinced. He starts pacing the room, his frustration clear. Audra acknowledges that seeing Holden brought back sad memories of her time with Tucker, which she had intended to leave behind. She hoped Holden would leave Genoa City so she wouldn't have to deal with those sentiments again. Nate stops pacing and looks at her, his gaze softening. He admits that her explanation makes sense, but wishes she had been more open with him from the start. Audra apologizes, her voice full of sadness. "Will you forgive me?" she asks, her gaze drawn to his. Nate surprised her by drawing her into a hug. He apologizes for everything she went through and understands why seeing Holden was tough for her. He simply wants her to trust him. "The past is the past," he replies, his tone calm. "Your connection to Holden doesn't bother me." Audra insists there's nothing else he needs to know, and the two share a sweet kiss, their relationship stronger than before. Adam asks Chelsea to try again. Meanwhile, at the old ranch house, Adam sits alone at the chessboard, deep in thought. The pieces are precisely organized, but his thoughts are elsewhere. He recalls a dream in which Chelsea told him she was falling in love with him again. The recollection persists, reawakening emotions he believed he had buried. Chelsea's voice breaks his reverie as she enters the room, wondering if he is playing against himself. She laughs about needing to learn how to play, before explaining that Connor encouraged her to take the day off so he could go ice skating. The two giggle at their son's ability to influence them into doing whatever he wants. "He's hard to resist," Adam confesses, a warm smile on his lips. As they talk, Chelsea considers how moving in with Adam has benefited Connor. She had her reservations at first, but their kid is doing well, and having immediate access to both of his parents has made a huge impact. Adam agrees, noting that the ranch now feels like their own little world. Chelsea notes Adam's strange behavior lately and inquires as to his well-being. Adam hesitates before deciding to be honest. He explains that, while he enjoys having Chelsea and Connor around, it is also challenging for him. Being so close to Chelsea makes it difficult for him to control his feelings for her. Chelsea is caught aback by his confession, and her mind races. Adam assures her that he does not want to put her under any strain, but he cannot ignore his feelings. He describes the dream he had in which Chelsea urged they try again. He knows it's wishful thinking, but he can't help but wonder whether they have a shot. Chelsea listens intently, her emotions whirling. She admits that being with Adam has triggered both positive and negative memories. Mostly, it reminded her of when they were in love. Adam recalls their wonderful times together, such as helping Chelsea study for her GED, nursing Connor's kitten, and watching The Outsiders. Chelsea's eyes well up with tears as she recalls waking up in Adam's arms, feeling secure and loved. Adam holds her hand, his voice quiet, and wonders whether it would be so horrible to try again. Chelsea sighs, acknowledging she had considered it. Her first thought is that it would be a mistake, but there is also a part of her that wonders if it will work. They'd have to approach it slowly and carefully, but Adam recommends starting with something small, like supper alone. Chelsea smiles and agrees to the concept. "I'd like that," she responds, her heart full with optimism. Nick and Mariah realize Sharon is missing.